Boom. There we go. Live, live, and live. Whew. I need to work on my lighting. That's the next thing I got to work on. But all right. So we're live. We're getting here.
What time you get here?
Oh, sorry. Goodness gracious.
Sorry.
Some of us have news to break.
News?
No, I was actually pressure washing.
Pressure washing what?
The back patio. They're coming to drop off.
God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
Still down there. Still down there.
Still outside corner, you're number one.
Was out. Hell was out. Dancer just about out-wrecked him. And then she busted her ass.
Now what are you doing?
Huh?
What are you doing?
Nothing. Don't worry about me. You worry about you.
1 second you were sitting there, and next second you're up in the air.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Filtering in. You got David Montsari, Jeremy Miller. What's up, everybody?
Hey,
What's up, fam?
we got somebody else here too.
We do. We have this extremely sexy man down here,
There he is.
Uncle Chuck Racing.
Uncle Chuck.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Thanks for having
What's
me
up,
on.
buddy?
Yeah.
Not much.
Bro, how do you have this like he shed over here, the man cave, and you ain't got a proper podcast set up yet? We gotta get you a mic. We gotta get you some lights.
Yeah, so this is the first time I ever came out here, and my connection to the Wi-Fi in the house is really good. So I'm gonna have to do something now. Now that I know that, so
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I just never thought about it until now. So definitely gonna make this into something. Gonna add a little corner in here for the podcast for sure.
That is legit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks good. Like I'm looking around the stuff behind you. You got the old 88 stuff. You got some 8 stuff. I mean, you got some good stuff going on in there.
Yeah, just to start. I can't wait to see what this thing comes out to be. I appreciate that, though. Then, thank you. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Anyone that has donations out there that wants to add their own piece to this thing, you can gladly, send your NASCAR memorabilia my way. I'll gladly put it up. Just putting that out there. But yeah, we'll see where this goes. Uncle Chuck Saloon. That's right.
I think.
What up, Jeremy? How's it going? How's it going?
Jeremy, what's up, buddy?
So, David Mott, excuse me, fellas. So, do we pour one out for SHR first, or Kyle's attempt at a double?
Yeah, we got a lot of shit to talk about.
I mean, technically, do I like pour one of these out since it is the Stuart Haas beer?
I think that might be more valuable than our charters.
I am leaving this now over here. It also tastes like ass. So
That's
just so
going to
everyone
be
knows.
worth about $5 in those little white tents outside the track in about 3 years. I'm calling it.
Well, hopefully it's worth something because they were $18 new. I mean, goodness gracious.
18 for that 4-pack?
18 for the 4-pack, which isn't bad in nowadays standards when it comes to some of these specialty brews, I guess we could say.
Oh, yeah, probably so.
$18 for the place they run every week. Nice. That's good.
But all right, so we are getting underway here. Uncle Chuck, why don't you reintroduce yourself? Obviously, you've helped us out before. You're not new to the Fast Car Living page, but tell everyone a little bit about you for those that don't know who you are.
All right, so my name is Chuck. I run Uncle Chuck Racing. I do the Darth Download podcast every Thursday night. I'm from New York. I go to a lot of races,
Jersey.
make a lot of race. Yeah, debated that I may be from New Jersey. One day we may find out the truth. Who knows? Yeah, I go to a lot of races, make a lot of race trip videos. Just have a good time going to races, meeting people, and just having fun. And occasionally hopping over fences at the tracks and getting your leg all cut up and
Stop by the police.
Yeah, stop by the police on the way back to camp. Occasionally, but besides that, it's not really all that much I got else to say. So yeah, that's me.
So,
I guess let's get in the action.
I think you're going to have to start with the whole crawling and jumping over the fence and almost getting arrested part. Obviously, those of us that were at the race know what happened there. But for those at home, I don't think they know yet, and they have to know. This is too good of a story not to know.
Dang. All right, let me take a sip of water before I say this.
It's very true.
All right. So there was a nice little bottle of Rebel whiskey up on the rooftop bus. There's a whole lot of Rebel bourbon. So, we had a good time putting that down during the Xfinity race. I got over there late, so I felt like I had some catching up to do. So a bottle of it that my old pal Dalton had brought. Thanks, pal. And he was very charitable with it. And I, went to town on it. Had a good day there. Then they had cup practice and qualifying, so we had more time to kill. And after that, I was just feeling good. Sun went down. Decided it was time to go home around midnight after just hanging out and drinking more cans or whatever really I could get my hands on, whatever I had.
No laws with the claws. I saw you clawing it up.
Oh yeah, no, I will always drink those with no shame. I don't know what else to say. And so that buddy,
We know.
We know.
yeah,
We were there.
We know.
yeah, that's called the whiskey something.
Shits.
But all right, so y'all are leaving. You and Rob are going out. You get
Rob decides it's my bedtime. Time for me to go home before I can't get down off the ladder. So I get down the third rung, and he was right. Actually, dude, the third. I was like, ooh, like here we go, because I just start getting the spins. I'm like, this is great. I walk all the way out to the gate that you go out with the VIP passes to go through the tunnel to the main, grandstands, not around the backstretch, and it's all. Yeah. Yep. So
That's the new nickname.
So I see the gate and it's locked. And I'm like, well, I certainly am not walking all the way back to the backstretch. So I just jump right over it. And then Robbie needs my help. So I go, all right, well, I jump back over the fence and I try to lift him over. He's like, I can't do this. So I go lift the fence bottom up and he scoots through and I just go to jump back over and there's a bunch of flashing lights pull up and there was a nice Charlotte, whatever the fuck he was, officer, whatever he was. I really don't remember. Could have been a rent. I don't remember. But they were saying, I don't know, they were saying a whole bunch of who, he, something, but they ended up just letting me go. So my camp was right back that way. And I'm glad they did let me go because I had 50 chicken McNuggets at the camp that night waiting for me from DoorDash. So, I'm glad I made it back. But yeah, I got my leg all cut up. Jumping the fence that first time because I just jumped it and almost, fell going over. But it was a good night though. I had a lot of fun.
What I have a problem though with is that tunnel, that gate was locked. Like
that's what I mean.
We've run into that.
That's been a problem. I don't understand why that one's locked because that leads out to the fan zone. I get the one that's turn 3 behind us because that goes out to nowhere. So I get that one being locked up. But why are they locking up the one that goes to the fan zone for people back and forth? I don't really get that one.
That was Saturday night, right?
Yeah, Saturday night going into Sunday
they had
morning,
the concert there.
Concert.
Yeah.
They did the same thing to us, David, last year when we were who was playing? Was it Tim Duggar that we went to go see?
I think it was Tim Duggar last year.
Yeah. Anyways.
Take a turn 2.
Yeah.
Wait, you can do so they weren't so for
I was on the opposite side of the track.
He wasn't out on the infield. He was on the outfield.
I camped on the outside. I wasn't on the inside, so yes, I could DoorDash food.
Gypsy camp, close to Gypsy camp.
Sure thing.
Pretty much.
Take a turn 2. But all right, so yeah, it's fun and exciting. We all got to be together. That was probably the best part. Thank goodness that we all got to get together for this weekend because it was, if not,
that made the weekend.
So what?
That made the weekend.
That made the weekend because we had a great time. That Friday night, Saturday night.
I would have been.
I think
Saturday night.
I think I can safely say that between Chuck and Dalton, they carried the vibe, the atmosphere the whole weekend.
Oh, 100%. For those of you that don't know, we have our very own American Idol, and that is Dalton Rowdy Bush.
He's got the sickest dance moves.
He knows how to shake it like a salt shaker. Oops, wrong one. Saturday night was a vibe. We were chilling. It was me, Andy, Uncle Chuck, got Dalton up there, and then we also had Connor, which is just Tall Ty Gibbs. And we were having a great time. We were chilling on top of the bus. So what?
Were Cooper and Bailey still up there at that point?
No, they weren't up there
Yeah,
yet.
they went to the brewery.
See, I
Yeah.
don't remember. Oh, yeah. See, okay, I do remember
Yeah.
that now. Yep. I don't remember.
And we were just chilling up top. We were listening to all kind of music. We threw it back to some old like early 2000s rap, some 90s rap. Like we were having some good times.
Shame to say, we played some Taylor Swift.
We played some Taylor Swift. We played Neon
Really?
Moon. I
I
mean,
don't
we
know
had
that.
it all.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, I saw your snaps later that night. I can understand why.
Mhm. All of a sudden, you turned the red, white, and courtesy of the red, white, and blue into a screamo hard rock song.
He did. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he turned that into a hard rock song. So Uncle Chuck was definitely feeling right.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. I had a good time for sure.
Did y'all make it to turn 4? We were up till 4 or 5, but I can't remember much more than that. So we were turn 3. We were right around the corner from you. Not very far there. Pizza Mark over on the Instagram side. Yes, I can see the Instagram comments as well. We cannot put them up on the screen like we can the YouTube and Facebook side.
But if you get on the YouTube stream, we can. Just throw that out.
This is true. Not putting that one
Creed.
up.
We
Was
didn't
Creed sing at one point?
Creed.
We didn't. We played
that's
one
pretty
CCR, Fortunate Son.
Oh yeah, Dakota, like with the clutch DJ moves, putting Fortunate Son on when the choppers were coming over, like that was.
Yeah.
That's not like when we released the video and everything. That's not like edited in. That's 100%.
That was there.
That was real.
That was just there.
Oh yeah. That's the song we always have to play. So.
But all right,
Fantastic weekend.
let's start with the beginning of the weekend. Obviously, we started with the truck race. We did not miss this one because
If
Wait,
you want
Dave,
to,
we should talk about Fan Day, shouldn't
yeah,
we?
I was gonna say we need to back up before the
that
truck
was
race.
before. You're right. You're right. See, that's whenever I was participating in fun times. So yeah, let's start with Fan Day. We had our first live podcast. That was awesome over at the Camping World directly next to the track.
Yeah, Rachel was in here on the Instagram side not too long ago. I don't know if she still is.
Oh,
She said these guys are the real deal. We appreciate that, Rachel.
We appreciate it. So yeah, we got the setup and the hangout over there. We got some drivers there. We had Gerald Hollister. He's a pit specialist over at Hendrick Motorsports. We started off the show with him talking about how he got into NASCAR, why he does what he does, and what he does for Hendrick. Pretty cool little insight on behind the scenes of, Hendrick farms out a lot of their pit crews. They basically have, it's like Pit Crew University. And then they farm out their people into other teams and second tiers, third tiers, fourth tiers, fourth string, fifth string, stuff like that. So it's very interesting to hear about that.
Yeah, that was cool to hear. We got to ask him some good questions too. Get a little insight on how the pit system works as far as do they develop them? Do they not necessarily like a draft, but you have different like you said strings. Basically, Spire has a Hendrick provided pit crew. All the JRM guys are Hendrick provided and everything. The Hendrick Xfinity team is obviously, he said it was basically Chase Elliott's crew. And even when Larson drove the car, or even when Byron drives the car, or Bowman coming up this year, it's basically, it's kind of a smorgasbord, but it's mostly Chase's pit crew. So,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that makes sense because obviously when Tudor was still pit was the Jackman, he was for Allgaier when it came to Xfinity, and then for truck or for Cup, he was with Jimmy Johnson. So
yeah, and the interesting part too, like I'm glad I asked the question was like when Larson had that loose wheel and they suspended two of the pit crew members, like what do they do in that situation? Next man up is how we put it, and they just pulled two guys from the Spire pit crew that they were using for Corey LaJoie and plugged in. So. Very, very awesome to have Gerald on the show, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah. So Pizza Mark over here asked, does Hendrick train them and then farm them out? So they do all of it. Like they are the talent accessor. So they train them, they get them ready, and then they're still with Hendrick. They're not with Spire. They're rented. It's basically like a rented tool. So they rent that team from Hendrick. Now that team can be manipulated, like Andy said. If they lose one of their guys due to suspensions, it's the next man up. They will pull from the Spire team to bring up whoever the next best is, depending on where that person is. But yeah, no, they are still Hendrick. They are just basically on loan.
Yep. True.
Yeah. But great episode to watch. That's the first part. Then we talked with Trace. Thank you so much. I don't know if Trace is in this one. Yeah, I know he said he was going to check us out. But Trace over at Camping World definitely got us hooked up. He saved a fat man's life because he came and picked us up in the golf cart and drove us back on the golf cart.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
would have died if I had to walk that far.
If you don't know Charlotte Motor Speedway, by the way, it's uphill both ways.
Somehow.
Yeah,
And
somehow.
like, no lie.
So
It's legit. There is no
Every way
downhill
to the
for some
tracks
reason.
up the hill.
Rachel's still in here too.
Yeah. Oh, yep. So there you are. Awesome.
BRB, by the way.
Okay. Go ahead and pull your food. This guy over here. I'm the fat one. He's always eating. I don't understand it. But yeah, so we had them. We talked with Trace. Trace is with Camping World right there. If y'all need anything when it comes to camping accessories or setting up stuff for that weekend, definitely hit up Camping World there. If you need a camper, you need an RV, they were awesome to us. Like superb to us. Free water and stuff like that to hydrate and get us ready. Obviously, they had tents, they had the chairs. Thank you so much, Rachel, as well. The Citrus Safe Cleaners Autograph Zone, y'all very hospitable. Had snacks, had everything, earplugs, all the realm. And then Uncle Chuck here was helping us there. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, buddy, it was fun.
What was your favorite part, Chuck? Because I think it's what we're going to lead into next.
Yes. Oh man, the Steve Park interview, dude, that was fun. I just felt like we were just sitting down talking with them, hanging out, and he was telling the best stories you could have possibly imagined. If you haven't listened from last week, you definitely should go listen to that after this. I mean, it was fun, man. You guys got to have him back on the show if possible. He was a lot of fun to sit there and talk to and hear the stories from.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. Because I think we got 2 or 3 Dale Earnhardt stories, and man, I would love to be able to get more Dale Earnhardt stories because that was just hearing it from him, knowing that he was a part of that team, a part of that history. It didn't feel real, and the fact that it was is just awesome.
Yeah. I'm assuming we're talking about Steve because the Dale stories. That was amazing. We've heard some of those stories before, whether it was on the Dale Jr. Download or any other interviews. I remember, watching Dale, the CMT documentary and everything, and Steve was a big part of that, telling some of those stories. But to hear them personally from him, to be sitting next to him, a guy that drove for the legendary Dale Earnhardt, I'm still kind of in awe. Like that was definitely a big check it off the box.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, the fact that we told him, was it Terry from your work just last year gave us Steve Park koozies, and they're the big foam koozies and stuff, and it was like full circle, like something that you never think you were going to be able to talk to, someone you're not be able to meet, and he was there, and that's all thanks to Rachel, her team.
Yeah, I do.
Good.
Yeah, thanks to Rachel and her team.
I should have shown them to you. They're in the bus.
They're in the bus. Yeah, we keep them. They're in the bus at all times. But it was fantastic. She did say he loved doing it too, so that's awesome because you could tell that he was kind of lighting up when we asked him some of those questions. What was his favorite moments? Obviously, he said his first win was one of them. But there's so much out there. I do want to touch on this real quick. Ronald, I think I know who you are too because I kept looking, I think, to you because I thought I saw you looking, but you didn't say, hey, next time, just say, hey. I promise it's fine. You're not going to disturb anything.
He looks like an ogre, but he's not going to eat you. I promise.
I'm hungry most of the time, but not. I eat Oreos, not Peoples.
Yeah,
but yeah. So going back to the Steve Park part, y'all have to check out that podcast. It's the live one there. I am going to chop it up. I'm going to go ahead and break out the Steve Park part. We also got Shauna Robinson. We'll touch on that in just a second. But that's over on our YouTube side as well. If you're on the YouTube side already, you're really close. Don't do it now. Do it after this. But that was like almost 2 hours that podcast lasted.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like, to me at least, it didn't feel like 2 hours. I don't know about you.
No, it didn't. It felt, it was a good time. Little anxious going into it, not knowing what to expect and everything. But in who we had, I felt like we were a little unprepared.
A little bit. Next year, which I want to talk. Let's go ahead and just say it now. They've officially asked us to come back for next year. So we're officially going to be doing this again. We are super excited about it. We're going to be the exclusive podcast for the Autograph Zone. So super exciting. We're actually going to have more stuff next year, a banner, some other things. And it's going to be a little bit more professional. it's gonna be a great time.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a lot of fun, man. I mean,
Like a big
that was a really good time this year. I can't wait to see what happens next year with it. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's only
Yeah.
going to gain traction because this was the first year for him. So who knows who we're going to get on next year.
Yeah, we're gonna get the list. We'll actually know who sooner because now we know how to set it up.
Yeah.
So we'll have that list sooner so we can actually think about it. Because I feel bad. At first, I did not recognize who Shauna Robinson was, and shame on me.
Shame on you.
Then I figured it out, and I was like, oh no.
But hey,
yeah.
talking to her was great too because
It was.
being one of 3 females to run the Daytona 500 was a very it's a huge accomplishment for her. It's a big deal for the sport that probably isn't talked about enough. And then getting to ask her the certain questions like, well, who does she think that female wise that's coming up, that has the talent, and she specifically said Kaylee Bryson.
Yeah. I mean, she also said there's a lot of talent in that pipeline right now too. So that is good to hear that there's more people out there. I mean, obviously she knows just as well as everyone. We're excited. Awesome. Obviously, it's great to have diversity out there nowadays, and to be able to put these race teams and bring more people to you is going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I left my water. But all right, so let's move on to our next part. We had the truck race because I want y'all to watch the podcast for the actual live show. Got to make sure that y'all go check it out. I don't give y'all too many tidbits. But let's move on to the truck race. So, what did you think about the truck race?
We will get to that here in a little bit.
Which piece?
About the jet dryers. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah. Hold on. We definitely are gonna touch on this.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of skim through the truck and Xfinity and get to the Cup because we got a lot to say about that.
Yeah, the Cup's gonna be long. So truck, what do you think about? What was your thoughts on that one, Andy?
Okay, so truck race, it's always a banger at Charlotte. I feel like Friday night under the lights. Truck race was amazing. Normally truck races are kind of hit or miss, but I loved it. We had a lot of action. And of course, having our friends on top of the bus too just topped it off. But yeah, it was fantastic. You got some awesome pictures. Shame on you for not bringing your camera, battery, and charger, so we could have got some better pictures throughout the entire weekend. Looky there. But the truck race was amazing from start to finish. I have no gripes or anything about it.
Yeah. So what you got next, Chuck? I'll let you go and I'll finish it up for trucks.
Oh man, good time. I just had a good time watching. I don't remember necessarily who was up front at most times, but I do have some names that I was just watching them make passes throughout the night. Overall, good. I enjoyed it. It was what I was hoping it would be. I had a good night in the bus, hanging out. Night one's always fun, so I mean, can't go wrong. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah. So shout out to Andrew Fuller. He also was joining us on top of the bus as well. Right. And he got probably one of the best videos of that night, because homeboy ended up getting the truck wreck that happened directly in front of us, where we're like watching it, and all of a sudden you just see the truck sideways. Whee!
That was Eckes, wasn't it?
That was Heim.
No, Heim came back and finished like second or third, but remember he got penalized.
I don't think it was that. It wasn't Eckes. It was a orange truck. Oh, it had orange on it.
Yeah.
Trucker's my favorite bolts. That's awesome. I can't remember exactly who it was, but I remember they just go sideways, and then they collected 3 more trucks with them as they ended up going back up into turn 3 and then turn 4. Oh, lost Chuck already. But that was one of the best videos of the night. And then I want to touch on the crowd. The fact that that crowd for the truck race was actually one of the best crowds I have seen in a very long time for a truck race.
Yeah, truck race pulled a great crowd. I mean, obviously the stands weren't filled, but the stands had plenty of people in them for a truck race. We're going to lead into this, of course, what happened with the Cup race and everything. But this weekend was all around fantastic to be able to do. Welcome back, old Darky.
Yeah, I thought you just went to Darth Vader or something.
Yeah, no, I just had to shut the door up real quick. There was just my family was in the backyard. Not that I don't love them. I just, trying to stay professional for your show.
I heard it here first, guys. He hates his family. All right, let's keep going.
My dogs eat each other in the background. It's no big deal. Yeah. So the whole weekend was fantastic as far as the crowd and everything. So Truck race, great crowd. How about Corey Heim though? You know, he won both stages, I believe it was. He definitely dominated the race. Had a bad pit stop or a penalty and had to work his way back up.
His jack broke.
Yeah, it was whatever it was, because obviously we were just, you know, in the moment watching the race.
The jack literally broke. That's what happened.
Well, he lost all that track
It
position.
didn't go up.
Yeah, so he lost all that track position. It was incredible to watch him come through the field. Like, it looked like he was in a different zip code as far as speed wise.
But at the end of it, it didn't matter because he got suspended.
Yep. No, disqualified.
Disqualified. Sorry, not suspended.
I wish he got suspended. Corey, I mean.
Sorry. So that was like,
yo, Daddy Dakota, what up, buddy?
Fuck NASCAR.
He's
Lazy
back.
bastards.
Yes.
Yep.
definitely touching on that soon.
Lazy bastards.
Very, very soon touching on
NASCAR.
that one.
We got to get to the Xfinity race. So,
Yes.
Xfinity next. So let's move into Xfinity. I'll start with Xfinity on this one. So Xfinity race was pretty good. It was not a night race. I wish that all three were night races, to be honest with you. That race started at 1, I think.
1:30, something.
1:30. It was hot. It was very freaking hot. I'm fat, very round, and it was very hot. So it smelled like bacon. Smithfield was back in NASCAR, and it was on top of the bus.
I think it was more like right brand bacon, but is what it is.
Definitely right brand bacon, thicker, better bacon. But yeah, so it was a good race overall. Unfortunately, our boy Gator again gets caught up in a late caution and ends his day. But overall, I think the Xfinity race was pretty good too. I had no quarrels there. I did get spaced out at one point, but then we had a caution and it brought everything back together. And then the racing again was phenomenal the entire time.
Yeah, I thought the racing for the Xfinity race was fantastic. We had multiple lanes of passing, lots of action on the track, and then of course the elephant in the room, the Cole Custer and Austin Hill situation.
So, and
Dakota can't even defend him.
He can't.
Alex,
It was
we'll
terrible.
get to your comment on
Makes no
Instagram in a
sense.
second.
Makes no sense. I have no clue what Hill was doing.
So the thing that infuriates me about the Hill cluster thing is that Hill afterwards is like, I don't know why he's mad. I don't get it. I didn't do anything wrong. You started it well back into
Your
turn
tires
one.
jacked up off the ground for a whole backstretch.
Yeah, he's
No
giving.
sense.
Now the funny part was Custer was giving him the thumbs up the entire time, and we're not joking. Like it literally was the thumbs up. He was not flicking him off, giving him the bird. It was thumbs
funny
up.
to
out
us.
the
I'm
window.
sure it wasn't funny to Cole.
No, because he was sideways.
Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Speaking of Cole, we got he probably is not going to have a ride next year just because his team's not going to be around next year.
Oh, so sad. Wow.
But we'll talk about that here shortly too. All the SHR parts. I did see y'all's comment down here on the Instagram side. But yes, I mean overall a great race. Austin Hill did not win, thank goodness. He ran out of talent and decided he had to wreck someone else, and then acted like there was no problem with what he did, and I don't get that whatsoever. But
is it bad? I just had to think about who won the Xfinity race too. I completely forgot.
That's not. It's kind of like the All-Star. No one cares that Logano won. Everyone cares about KFB Stenhouse. No one cares who won the Xfinity race. They just think back to the Austin Hill Cole Custer incident.
Who won the Xfinity race?
I don't remember.
Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott. That's right. Chase Elliott.
What? So what's that tell you about Chase?
Oh, good lord.
Can't even
Hold on.
remember.
Super forgettable.
Yeah.
Big Crunch, I think temper
One
is
second,
better.
fellas.
Yeah, he definitely had a big temper. What's up, Andy Gray? How's it going, buddy? What's up, Ozzy? Yeah, so it was Elliott. They ended up just went off again. Chase definitely got that win. He was keeping up, I think, in the top 5 most of the race. So he was
Yeah,
up there.
I mean, I'm not gonna knock Chase or that team. They definitely had speed all race. They were there. They were in contention the whole race. Ty Gibbs was in the race. Kyle Busch was in the race. Kind of almost a one-off, it seems like anymore, as far as Kyle.
So ballsy on the Instagram side said, no judgment. Elliott is a wet blanket. And that is a perfect explanation of Elliott. That is actually gold right there.
Yep.
I
won't say exactly how I was saluting Chase every single lap, but it involved a finger.
It is very true.
Yeah.
They also, I mean, obviously we had Kyle Busch up there in the 33 car. Car looked great. Unfortunately, he ended up having some power steering issues, the same that Jesse Love had that took Jesse out of the race as well. So the RCR car is not having a great day. Austin Hill being a jackass. And then those two things happening definitely did not do them any good.
Who?
I don't even know he was in there.
Probably Chase.
Yeah. Old Smelly, he won. And to commemorate that, we put Chase Elliott's sticker in our bathroom on the bus.
It is true.
They started that strategy real early, bold move, but worked out. Yes, they definitely were hitting the strategies pretty much on point. But all right, so now let's start moving into the Cup race, because this is where we're going to spend a ton of time, I have a feeling, because even though it was supposed to be the longest race of the year, it ended up being shorter than Kansas.
Yeah, it was only 73.5 miles longer than Xfinity race. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too much more than that. Whoever made the sticker that I saw in the group chat before I got on here, I want that sticker. I don't understand throwing the bird at a driver. It's not like he's gonna see it. Oh, they see it.
Are you friends with PITSTOP by chance?
They see it. What's up, Bruce? How's it going,
I
buddy?
don't care if I see it or not.
Andy, do you know who Bruce is?
I do.
It's our neighbor.
Yeah, I know. I know who he is.
Brother from another mother.
Yeah, I mean,
Trust me, be smart. We're going to talk about track driving.
We're getting polluted.
What we got here? Joey Logano has seen mine. Believe me.
Oh yeah. Joey has publicly said about that one fan at Bristol that.
Yep. I'm trying to find the stickers. Did we forget Jeremy for stickers again?
What?
Did we forget to give Jeremy stickers again?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I flipped him off the backstretch of some drunk dude ran after me. Don't worry. We flip everyone off during the race.
Was he shirtless wearing a shitty backpack cooler? In a 2311 shirt?
He's from Jersey. You gotta watch out.
I don't care what you do.
But yeah, so I mean,
I was waiting for you to go crash that Uno party that was in the camper next door.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna do it. Never went in there. Not a single time did you ever go over there.
I couldn't, bro. I couldn't. I just couldn't.
Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. But all right, so yeah, Cup race. Let's get into this, because
the Coca-Cola 373.5.
The Coca-Cola super short Memorial, non-Memorial Day race. We had Trump in the building. Trump flew in. We got to see the Trump mobile.
Trump Force One flyover was incredible.
Yes.
Yeah. That was really cool. And it also did like the little bob for us real quick. That way it could show that it's the Trump plane.
Kind of waved at us.
And then we also had, I don't know, hey, Pizza Mark, since you're over here on the Instagram side, I don't know how close they got to y'all, but I can tell you that those helicopters that came in and they were practicing, they got so close, they destroyed our camp twice. Our poor boy over here, Brucey, but he lost a grill and a canopy. Our canopy was almost gone. Our neighbors, it went from the back to the front. I mean, they had to be laughing their asses off.
I mean, I thought it was funny because they did practice or whatever for it Saturday morning, and it was like 6:30 they decided to do that in the morning. So everybody is obviously asleep unless, they weren't out drinking the night before. And it woke me up. It got me out of bed. I heard some kind of kerfuffle going on, and I looked outside the window and I saw our canopy flipped over and one of our tables flipped over, and our canopy was like halfway on the neighbor's bus. I looked at it for about 2.79 seconds and said, that seems like an issue I'm going to tackle here later on. I went back to bed.
No, David makes a good point right there. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Kyle's on the team, right?
Well, I think he was there more or less for Richard Childress.
I know, for the 30 car too.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. Well, he also went up there with the spotters, so he's probably who told.
How about the picture of Trump on the spotter stand with the
badass?
That's like the most American thing. Like I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool.
It was really cool. And it's regardless of politics. I mean, it's cool whenever you have someone bring more eyes to NASCAR. Obviously, at the end of the day, that's all we really want.
Yeah, regardless of the politics, I thought it was awesome. A former sitting president and a presidential candidate showing up and doing that. And yes, obviously it was a political thing, but it was cool nonetheless to see it on Memorial Day weekend with all the military activities going on too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and thank y'all to everyone that served. Obviously, Memorial Day. This is for those that we have lost. So if you've lost someone out there in the armed forces, thank y'all so much for y'all's family sacrifice, and we definitely feel for you and your families.
Yeah.
But all right, Pizza Mark, they messed up your canopy as well. Well, see, did y'all see Moonhead made it up there? I did not see Moonhead made it up to the spotter stand. That's one place I'd love to be able to sneak. I got in the garages. I can usually do that, but getting on the spotter stand.
And how you make it in the garages, I don't know.
I have
yes, Andrew. I am very appreciative you came out. We all are.
Had a good time, buddy.
Well, if the whole presidency thing doesn't work, he could be a spotter. That was hilarious. That would be hilarious. I'm not saying he's on your left, but if he was.
It's true. China on your left.
Yeah. But all right, so we move into the cup race. It started out great. I mean, the racing at the very beginning was awesome. Let's see, Ty Gibbs had pole, his first career pole. So congratulations. The pole was taller than he was, just like everything else is. And
he got Connor to be there to see it too.
He got to start up front. Our boy Connor was super excited about that. Yeah. He set the bar very, very high, a whole 3 foot tall.
Ty won the pole in the Xfinity race too.
He did back to back. He swept poles for the weekend.
Yeah,
I know where he was at. Trump's party.
He's gonna come.
Grab her by her axle.
Dalton.
I'm just reading the chat every time. So I've just been like reading this chat.
Yeah, I know. The chat's
it's addictive.
Dude, the chat sometimes gets wild, and it's awesome. But yeah, so I mean that was really cool. We got to see some things. I was really afraid we weren't going to be able to stream a lot because obviously this is our first time with Starlink to be able to stream our live races during the race. Before we would have issues and wouldn't be able to stream the whole thing because basically we have no connection. So it was interesting to see how that all worked out, but it was great. So any of y'all infield campers, if you can do it, Starlink, definitely worth it.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree. Thanks to the Starlink, we were able to watch the Indy 500 at the same time the Coke 600 was going on. So we watched the entire thing, but we were able to see the finish of the race at the same time. The stage 1 was ending, I think. So awesome to have that experience.
Yeah, and obviously let's get into Indy because Indy got pushed back. And because of that, our boy Larson was not able to start at the Coke 600. He had to get Justin Allgaier to fill in, and now there's talks of to waiver or not to waiver. And I know Jordan Bianchi went a woman fresh product.
I didn't listen to the podcast. What did he say?
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and open this can of worms right now. Bianchi was basically saying that he does not believe Kyle should get a waiver because he was able to run the Coke 600 and he chose not to instead to run the Indy 500. I am of the opinion that you have arguably one of, if not the most popular driver right now in NASCAR, running maybe the biggest race of the year in America, for sure. The Indy 500.
Probably the world. Probably is the world.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's up there. It's up there.
What's bigger?
Yeah, and if obviously it was a Mother Nature issue that pushed the race back because he fully had the intentions of running double in all 1,100 miles.
He had done everything possible to get it set up for that. So did Hendrick, and so did NASCAR.
This was planned since January of 23. It was planned, and they announced it.
100%.
They announced it the Coke 600 weekend of last year that they were doing it. So yeah, I don't like the opinion of, well, he doesn't deserve to get a waiver because he wasn't there and he was eligible to race and he chose not to race. We had the biggest driver go out and put more eyes on our sport and IndyCar. So that should be rewarded with a waiver, in my opinion. I mean,
well, and NASCAR knew about all this. They agreed to have all this happen. They even donated some of their jet dryers and air Titans up there to them, which we'll talk about why that matters a little bit later.
Yeah.
But if NASCAR is going to do stuff like that and then not grant a waiver, especially after they grant waivers for literally suspensions for things that are detrimental to the sport,
Mhm.
I would think that all faith is lost. At that point.
I cannot go into this thinking that, or they could not have gone into this with the decision of at the last minute, essentially saying, you know what, we're not going to
Yeah, he was
start the
definitely being
600.
baby
We're
beat.
going to race the Indy 500, and we'll come and start the 600 late if we
Mhm.
have to swap out drivers without knowing that they already had a waiver in advance. Like
Yeah.
there's no way. There's no way they would have made this decision.
And he came back. He could have just stayed in Indy, just like Gluck said. He could have just stayed in Indy. He didn't have to rush to get back because, I mean, basically, as soon as the race was over, he was out for a couple seconds. Then, literally, the car came and picked him up on pit road.
He was in his pit box at the same time the rain started. He was suited up, putting his helmet on at the same time they were pulling down pit road for the rain delay.
Yep. And you know, Allgaier, congratulations to him. Did a fantabulous job getting into that race. Obviously, had to start at the rear
waivers because they grant everyone waivers for everything. So why would they start not granting it and start actually following the rules now? I was going to say at least be consistent for NASCAR, right?
Yeah,
they're consistent with giving everyone a waiver for no reason. So of course he's going to get one.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think the whole waiver thing is stupid. Anyways, it's
100%.
But I didn't mean to cut you off. Back to what you were saying. Yeah, Allgaier is definitely.
Yeah, Allgaier. I'm sure y'all saw me. Bye, Charles. See you here in a few minutes. Allgaier had that dog in him. I mean, he hasn't run the next gen car but once or twice, maybe. Yeah, I'd have to go back and check on that. I think the last time he might have run it was when Jimmy was still in the 48, and that would have
been a bad run. I can't remember when it was, but I remember
it was at Indy.
Yeah, and it was not good.
Yeah, because they were talking about how, and Cliff Daniels was the crew chief then. They were talking about how this was their do-over. So yeah, I don't know if this was the first time he had run the next gen car or second time he's run the next gen car, but to go out there, I wouldn't say short notice because this was all planned way in advance. Justin said it in his press after the race that this was they knew this January of this year that he was the backup driver. That they had the fire suit and everything made up back in January. So Justin to go out there with very limited next gen experience, almost went a lap down. He did go a lap down at one point in the first stage. And y'all saw how excited I was because he fought his way back on the lead lap. Didn't have to get a wave around or anything. Got back on the lead lap himself. Kept it on the lead lap. Kept it out of the wall and drove it to 13th before the rain came out. Like, hats off. Justin, you got that big gator in him, not little gator.
Yeah, he definitely did. And as soon as Larson got there, we saw that Gator came up on top of the pit stand or pit box, and hey, it's all congratulations. It wasn't, oh man, you're here to take over my spot. He was excited. He even said whether it was lap 3 or 300 or whatever it was, I think it was like 133 or something. He didn't care. He said it's Larson's car, and he said over the radio a couple times like, hey, this car, Larson can win in this car. And he made up spots at the end there. He was coming. I mean, he did a great job. You couldn't ask for more out of him before Larson got there.
Yeah. Charles, I want to know what you felt about it because I know your hatred for the driver of the 5 car. What did you, the way the race ended, and we'll touch on that here in a minute. Do you wish you would have been able to see Kyle run that last stint?
I mean, for you, sure, but I mean, personally, I don't really care. I think it's kind. I mean, in the long run, I'm gonna think it's really funny, but like in the moment, I was bummed for you. But like, ideally, it would have been cool to see it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just it comes with. I mean, comes with his choice to stay there and go race that. I mean, that's something that could have happened, and that's what ended up happening. So I mean, all his fans in Charlotte that like you that didn't get to see him. I mean, it sucks. I feel bad for you guys. I mean, it's a bad deal, but I mean, it's just at the end of the day, that's what he chose to do. I'm not saying it was the wrong decision, but it's just, I guess you can't have everything sometimes, and it's a thing where they've really overbooked themselves that day, and everything has to go perfect, and the didn't go perfect. So that's what happened.
I mean, there's contingencies and everything in place. I think, like I know the group chat talked about it, and they're all like, he should run Indy. Like that should be his priority. And I would be excited for him to be running Indy. And I'm like, well, I'm here in person. I paid to be here to see him run the 600. I know that he has every year a fantastic shot to win the 600, given the equipment that he's in. For him not to be there, not to start the race, and then the way the race ended, and him not even turn a lap, I still struggle with it. That's a hard pill to swallow.
The slap in the face of the Coca-Cola 600.
It is.
Mhm.
It really
in my
is.
opinion. Like,
Yeah.
cool for Indy. Everyone's going, oh, but Indy. It's like, where you're forgetting that NASCAR also has one of its biggest, in my opinion, the second biggest race of the year on the same day.
Yeah.
So, like, Indy's cool, but we're NASCAR fans. I'm not. At the end of the day, we're NASCAR fans, not Indy
Yep.
fans. I think he
Yep.
should have came back to Charlotte.
Yep.
I know a lot of his fans were upset that he wasn't there. And at the end of the day, that's something all I know is as I see what you're wearing, Andy, they made their money on shirts. They made their money on ticket sales. They got the viewers they wanted. They got the publicity they wanted. They got everything they wanted. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I know Kyle Larson deep down's gutted about it. And I know, his fans are. But at the end of the day, that was a decision that was made. And I struggle to decide why it was. When I remember as short as like a week up to the event, it was still always Coke 600 was the priority. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And
It was. It was said
It
like
was.
3 days before this was happening that the Coke 600 was the priority, and then the day of,
I
it's
just
like,
think it's wrong with fans. I think it's wrong with fans because I know a lot of people. I'll put it this way: when I was driving home yesterday, I drove by someone in traffic who had a Kyle Larson sticker on their car, right, on a New York plate. They had a camp. I looked and looked at their windshield as I was going by when I was passing them. I saw they had like the Coke 600 like camper sticker, in their or whatever sticker on their car, parking sticker, something. And I was like, yeah, like these people came a long way to see this double, and they're not really the IndyCar fan. They're the NASCAR fan. Yeah, they thought it was cool he was running Indy, but it was cool he was running Indy because he was also running the Coke 600, and that's what he was coming to do. That was for me, if I was a Kyle Larson fan, I would be fucking pissed. I'm just gonna be honest.
I was,
I don't know. I can't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, no, I was, and I still am.
Yeah.
And some of the other guys were like, you should be happy that he's running the 500. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm happy he's running the 500, but he's a NASCAR driver. First of all, let's address this.
Look what Ron just said. Real
He
quick
was
in
the
chat.
points
I just want
leader.
to point that out.
He was the points leader coming into this race. Points leader coming into this race. We know that this race to begin with is the biggest race as far as points go. You have four stages. You can earn 70 something points max if you win, sweep the stages and everything. So Kyle went from leading the points like 30 points over Denny Hamlin to now he's third in points behind Hamlin and Truex. And we know all too well how much points matter when you get to the playoffs because of your regular season finishing. So,
I looked at that this morning and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I haven't even looked at the standings. Well, I wonder what happened to Larson. I saw Hamlin was the regular season leader, and I'm like, wow, what
it's just
out.
There's so much to do with points here for this race, and that's the part that I don't like for the Larson piece of this. The entire team for this entire time, like y'all said, was, hey, Coke 600's priority, which it should be. That's his full-time job. And then all of a sudden we get to where the weather is like, maybe it's not okay. It's not going to be the full-time piece, and I'll be okay if we miss it. There's a lot of money invested here. And yeah, this is a lot of points. Now he definitely already is locked into the playoffs, which that part's nice, but there's these little things called playoff points. And we know that those matter when it gets to the end of the year and into those playoffs. And the fact that they were willing to give those up and then didn't even get, even if he got in the car, the points were gone. There was no points for him to have because he joined the car after the fact. Even if he won, technically, Justin Allgaier would have won that race. Yep. So the diecast, the hat, all the merch that they had was technically Justin Allgaier merch. It wasn't Kyle Larson merch. And so it's a little bit upsetting. I can understand for those fans because they came in expecting to cheer for Larson and have Larson's name on that 5 car, and they ended up with Allgaier's name. And Allgaier's great,
And
but that's not what they came for.
Bought $50 t-shirts and hats.
yeah, I mean, I spent
Right.
$76 between the home hat that I'm not wearing because I don't want to get that thing dirty.
It's $200 for that hat, by the way, now.
Yeah. And then, of course, the H1100 shirt.
You
So
finally
yeah,
got the
there's
whole
there.
hat. Nice.
I posted a reel on my personal Instagram that it's the H1100 asterisk because it wasn't. The biggest thing too is that, you know, with the rain that was coming, everything was kind of playing out perfectly. Like it was, all the stars were finally aligning. It felt like that. Okay, we're coming to a stage end. We're going to have 100-something laps left of the race. The rain's coming and everything. Larson just got here. Well, now we have a rain delay. After the delay's over, Larson's going to get in the car, and he's going to have an awesome opportunity. Even if he doesn't win, I get to see my guy that came from Indianapolis run some laps in person.
Yep.
And
737.
and then we got stripped of that too.
NASCAR took everything. And David, your point here, yes, I'm not saying that it was terrible what he did. I'm just saying that as a fan, I can see why they would be upset. And it's mainly because of what Angie just said. The last sliver of what would have made it fun was basically stolen from Larson, his fans, and then regular NASCAR fans. Because now let's get into this. So now let's talk about the cluster that was canceling this race. It made absolutely no sense. It looked like almost from the start, they had absolutely no ambition to get this race going back again. From we never got jet dryers, by the way. There are jet dryers at the track. We know there's jet dryers at the track because before the race started, they cleaned off the track with jet dryers. They put the Air Titans out. The Air Titans got one lap around, came back around for their second lap, and one of them broke. They were going faster than I've ever seen them go when they were moving around, but they started with pit road. Since when do they start with pit road to dry the track?
I've never seen them start with pit road. That was the discussion. What was the last rain race that we had where they dried the track and then they spent They spent like 20 laps under caution drying pit road.
Well, it was the beginning of this year. It was one of the ones.
It was a race this year. It was
It was earlier this year. I know which one you're talking about. I can't remember where it was. Yeah, I do know what you're talking about, though.
Was it Darlington? Richmond?
It might have been Darlington.
David Mont said Richmond. It was Richmond. That's exactly what it was.
Yep. Darlington had its own too, where they did it different.
Yeah, and that was exactly it. It was shaping up to be an epic 150-lap shootout. I can't remember any time that we were like, oh yeah, we're going to drive pit road first, and then we're going to dry the track. Like it's always been the opposite. I know that we lent some equipment to Indy. That's to be expected. But at the end of the day, we had 6 Air Titans. That's all we had on the track. I don't know if they had more. Maybe they had more. I don't know. But they had 6 Air Titans. After the first lap, like you said, they came around. One of them broke down right in front of us. So now we're down to 5.
Move the hoses off.
And then I watched this. I remember it. The AMR safety truck was right behind them and was in the middle of turns 3 and 4. On the second lap, they were drying. And he stops. He U-turns and starts going backwards down the track, like in the opposite direction. And then the Air Titan stopped. We didn't really think that much about it. And then we're all starting to read, social media. We're like, oh, the race is ended. We're like,
yep.
What?
They didn't give it a valiant effort. Never jet dryers, not a single time.
No jet dryers. I remember after the second lap they made, the track was already starting to look better.
Yes, they still had 12. There was still 12 there because when I went over to the garage, guess what was over there?
What Ronald just said. One thing first that he said a while ago, he was that someone came all the way from Alaska to see him, which like Larson, which to my point, a lot of people were there. But then the other thing right here, this is what I was saying earlier, yesterday, I think. That's important. Interesting. Neighbor works for NASCAR, all employees.
Yeah, I don't understand the no jet dryer. I mean, I understand it actually because NASCAR went into this already knowing that they weren't going to start this race.
They made that decision. They had made that decision.
They made
And
that
did it
decision
late.
when it was raining.
Yes, when it was raining, because we went. I mean, it was a good rain. It got windy. There was storms. Now, I talked with one of our
But it rained
friends.
for 10 minutes.
Yes, I talked with one of our friends that's in the NASCAR business, and the reason why it took so long to get started was they were still under lightning hole. So okay,
Yes. And I brought that up. Jeremy and I were talking about that.
Yeah, and I'll take that piece. But when they finally came back, they start on pit road.
Yeah,
that part doesn't make sense. Why not? The jet dryers weren't dispatched. I don't think at all. If they were, they never made it to our side of the track. Period.
No, they didn't do any of the track because I was watching for them. They didn't do any of the track. I watched the
never made it over
from turn 2.
And the fact that Jordan Bianchi comes on their podcast, the Teardown, and says it was still soaked 2 hours later.
Where we were you go look at our Twitter. I posted a picture at 11:49 how it was already drying.
Yeah,
11:59 considerably drier, and then after midnight, Denny Hamlin. Did you listen to Action Session yet? Denny
I have not
Hamlin.
yet. I'm listening tomorrow.
Okay, I don't want to ruin it, but
yes,
Denny,
we were ballsy. We were up late.
Yeah,
we were pissed.
Denny's on our side on this. He's like, I don't know what the fuck Jordan Bianchi was talking about. Because even Gabehart, he was talking with Gabehart, and they were talking about it. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna keep the car set up like this and everything because they thought they were going back out there. Bianchi's on the podcast saying, yeah, I'm talking to crew chiefs, and they're all like, yeah, there's no fucking way we're gonna get this.
Not a single person has said that's true.
No,
not a single. And it wasn't because we looked at that track.
I went over. The humidity's too high to dry the fucking track. Okay,
never heard of it.
First of all, the track it rained for 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to get really pissed now too. It rained for 10 minutes.
You're getting red.
Yeah, I know. It rained for 10 minutes, and then the track has all this heat still in it. Like they didn't even need equipment, and the track was drying itself.
So, yeah, that's what
100%.
I mean. Like it was about to dry out later, even coming around the track. Like,
and you want to talk about something crazy? I go over to Victory Lane because obviously we can get over to the backside of Victory Lane. I can see all the way into Victory Lane. And I wanted to see what the atmosphere was like over towards the garages, pit lane, and Victory Lane. There was no cheering. There was no excited. Even the team was not excited. Every once in a while, they'd have to do the photos where it's the woo, and that's all you'd get, and it would be nothing. Fans were upset. Teams were upset. Nobody was happy of what was going on. And it was dry. Over where Bianchi said it was wet at the media center, I was right there. I stood there and I looked at the ground, and on the low side there were some wet spots. Since when do they run jet dryers in front of the media center on the infield? They don't. It's not happening.
How about
so? Why are you judging the media center as part of how wet the track is, Jordan?
How about all the roads in the infield? They were dry. So
yeah, and Ballsy and Pizza over here talking about it too. It was high humidity. It's the South, but just like they said, it's the South.
We live in Daytona in July, or now it's August.
Yeah,
the most humid time of the year.
It made no sense. At 12:30, I think at 12:35, I took my photo, and that was the update photo where there was very, very, very little wet marks, weepers on that track. And that's with over an hour of not having any equipment, no jet dryers whatsoever, and only 2 passes of Air Titans. Make it make sense. I really think Fox had to deal with this. I've heard from one of our friends that Fox did say, hey, and then I want to touch on this. There's a curfew in Concord. Do you know what that time of that curfew is?
It's 2 a.m., isn't it?
It is 2 a.m. or you face a fine.
I'm pretty sure NASCAR can pay the fine for one, but I would also think that being that one of the biggest races of the year, and NASCAR is located in Charlotte, and Concord is a neighborhood of Charlotte, I would think that they would do everything possible and probably, waive that fine to get this race finished up.
You know how many tax dollars were there this weekend?
I don't even care about
millions.
That. Yes, I don't even care about that. The point is that we've raced many races before till 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yep.
The crown jewel race of the Coca-Cola 600 was cut short because a 10-minute thunderstorm that came through, and we blamed it on humidity. That's the biggest crock of shit I have ever heard in my life. That
100%.
NASCAR just came off of one of the best finishes, closest finishes, the fight at the All-Star race. We have so many storylines. This year has been fantastic.
The hill, we are climbing that hill of bringing more fans on and making NASCAR something that people are going to tune into because of the excitement and the on-track product. And then all of a sudden, we just cut the legs out.
We shot ourselves in both feet and took a baseball back to the kneecaps, both of them. Yep. I cannot defend them at all on any decision here. And as far as a fan, I have the worst taste in my mouth about this now. This just by far shows that NASCAR doesn't care about fans. They don't care.
And you know, look, we do this every year. Charlotte and Atlanta both. Those are 100%. We are going to them. But this one, whenever we packed up that next day, I made that TikTok, and I'm sitting there and normally we're sad because we're leaving due to how great of a weekend we had. This time we're sad because we got kicked in the nuts and was told, hey, go ahead and just hold them until next year, because there was zero transparency from NASCAR. There was no talking to the fans. There was no updates. None of the teams knew. None of the media members knew. No one knew they were about to cancel this race. And then all of a sudden, we just all get canceled.
Yeah. Chuck, you and I have been going, or David and I have been going back and forth. What do you got?
Y'all just made me really sad, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just, like you said, I don't think I've ever been.
It's
left with
depressing.
The worst taste in my mouth in my life. I was down there for the North Wilkesboro race. I went down there Saturday, went to Wilkesboro on Sunday. Had such a phenomenal day. Had a fun week hanging out at the track. Had a great day at all the fan days. I got to get some autographs and picture with Denny Hamlin. SHR guys. It was cool. See a bunch of team shops. I had a great week, and the weekend was phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. Every time I get to go on the bus with you guys, it's always a good weekend, no matter how the racing goes or what happens. I mean, it's just fun getting everyone together and doing everything. But just, man, I feel like it was such a perfect weekend up until even with the thunderstorm. I mean, we knew it was going to come through, be whatever. We were still going to finish the race. We were thinking 2015 Daytona July race, 2019 Southern 500. We were thinking one of those late night finishes. Yeah, and it was going to be really cool. I was texting people yo, tune into the race. About to finish at 2 a.m. If you're up just looking for something to watch, the race going to be on all night. And everyone was excited for it. A lot of people were tuning in. They're like, all right, bet, we're watching. And then as soon as I'm starting to think we're getting the announcement, I thought someone was reading the announcement. We were going back green. It's read the announcement that we were done. And I still almost 48 hours later, I'm still just really just deflated from it. And it's left with a really poor taste in my mouth from everything. Terrible.
David and I went, you were there too. We went to last year's 600, and unfortunately we had to leave before the race even started because of how bad the rain was. They didn't get anything in for 2 days. So we missed that race, and this was like our redemption race for that. And then this happens. I don't want to take away from the fact that the only thing that makes this year better than last year was that we had all our friends around. Last year we didn't. It was just David and I and our really chill neighbors that we had last year next door. But as far as you guys being there, that was fantastic. That in a way it overshadows the way this played out. But that's not to make light of how this played out, because this is the biggest fumble in NASCAR's call, I feel like. Were you at the 21 Daytona 500?
No, it's actually the one Daytona 500 the last 7 seasons.
I'm glad you brought this up, Andy.
I was just thinking, David and I went to that race. And
what time did they get that start going again?
9 o'clock at night. It was late. But what I want to say about that was the humidity. Remember how foggy it was?
Well, remember what time
layer? It got cold for one, but it had rained so much that the humidity was through the roof, that a layer of fog came in and it was right above the grandstands. Like, had it got any lower, it would have been like Pocono the year that Chris Buescher won, where it was just so bad they would have had to call it. So I call bullshit to begin with on the humidity. That's
Well, if you remember,
that is the worst
bullshit.
excuse.
that same Daytona didn't finish till after midnight.
Yes, because you and I packed up and we drove home that morning.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we were on the road at 2 a.m. Like we followed the haulers out of the track.
Yeah.
So that's
so I don't get this.
2014 Daytona 500. It was a rain race. Dale Jr. won it, and it was like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. It was over with.
Yep.
So
They've done it plenty of times before. They have the ability to do it. They chose not to do it. And like they've said, a couple people here, Instagram side, drivers were told 15 minutes, report to your cars. That's how late they waited to say something. That's why I think Fox had a lot to do with this. I've heard Fox did have to do with this. I just NASCAR. Someone needs to get in front of someone needs to get in front of the camera, and they need to explain what happened at this Coke 600, because right now it's not about the fans.
They won't.
It's about the TV deal, and that's it. Because we do not feel appreciated. We do not feel listened to. We also have absolutely no clue where this decision making came from, because we watched as drivers were getting back ready to go in their cars. We're waking up from naps. We're getting all this stuff started going again. And then we watched as a dry track sat there. Basically at 12:30, it was dry enough that we really could have ran. And why we haven't came out with wet weather package tires for intermediates yet, or even tested it, I don't understand that at all either. So we need to figure something out here, because there's a whole bunch of things here that do not make sense. And right now there's a lot of pissed off fans, and there's a lot of people that probably you were gaining that fandom, and they probably just were like, if this is how it's going to be, I'm gone.
We spend a lot of money as fans, not just us. Everybody we know, all the fans spend a lot of money to do this. Personally, you and I spend a lot of money and invested a lot of money in building a school bus and putting a rooftop deck on top of it, making a
thousands of dollars a year.
Thousands of dollars a year. I mean, I pay thousands of dollars a year to renew campsites for these races. To have the rug pulled out underneath of us for fans like that on one of the biggest races of the year is unacceptable. We could go back to July Atlanta last year, where the rain came through, and they called that race so damn early, like they didn't even attempt to dry it. Yeah. Now, granted, there was a little bit different situation where they had storms that were kind of in a row that were going to come through. But this was just one quick little cell. It rained for 10 minutes, and they didn't do anything.
Storm wasn't bad.
Yeah.
No.
But all right, so I think we've dwelled on this long enough. NASCAR, fix your shit. That's all I'm gonna say for the rest of that. But let's look ahead. We have the WWT coming up.
Yeah. Gateway.
And fellas, I'm gonna be honest with you here. My phone's got 2%. I don't got much longer on here before my thing's dead, and I gotta go back in. I'm gonna power out here yet.
Yeah.
So, I'll probably just I'm gonna give you some quick thoughts on here and give you a pick for this race, and then I'm gonna get out of here. But I'm glad that you guys had me on this week, and I appreciate you guys. Absolutely. So where are we? Gateway, right?
Yeah.
Gateway. WWT, or what? Information Technology Center, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So what they've done 2 years up there so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Kyle Busch, and who won last year?
Logano won the first year. Kyle Busch won the second year.
Okay, gotcha. Are all three series?
Truck and Cup. No Xfinity.
We're just doing for picks though. We only do Cup.
Yeah, we're only doing Cup. Sorry.
Cool. All right. I don't know. I'll go either. No, I'll just be firm. I'll go Denny Hamlin. Why not?
I was looking at back on Denny.
Yeah, I was looking at the results from the last 2 years, and it's a very solid pick for sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
The first year he was just playing bumper tag with Chastain the first year, so.
Yeah. No, he's finished very well, and I think he's top 5 in both so far.
Yeah.
So
cool. All right, well, I'll take it.
Before you get out of here, we really appreciate you coming this last weekend. We love you. cannot wait to see you in person again at the next race.
Atlanta.
Absolutely, buddy.
Yeah.
Be there.
All right, buddy.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see you both again. And thank you again for having me this weekend on the bus. I had a great time. Thanks for having me on the show tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry to run out on you so soon. I just know if I don't do this, it'll cancel out randomly. And I'd rather just like actually give a formal goodbye. So that's why I'm doing this. Yeah. I'll let you guys do your picks now. So thanks
All
for
right.
having me, guys. Go Denny.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
talk to y'all.
Thanks, Chuck. Everybody give
Sounds good.
Uncle Chuck Racing a follow.
Uncle Chuck
Yeah.
Racing. All right, let's get these
Okay.
picks in and let's finish up for ourselves. I got to start getting things put back up myself.
Yeah.
But all right, so
I got
who you
dinner
got
sitting in the
for,
microwave, just chilling out. So,
Who you got for Gateway?
all right, my pick for
Thank you.
Gateway is going to be Ryan Blaney. I did some research on this. Ryan's been strong the last 2 years.
Not a bad pick.
The Fords seem like they're starting to come on. Aside from, I mean, just the throwback to the 600, Brad Keselowski was right there again. So
100%. Second place, he probably could have won that race if it kept going.
I think we're kind of sleeping on Fords now. I think we were so used to Fords not winning and not running good, and now all of a sudden they've shown up. They found something.
I think they are. We're not, because my pick is also a Ford, and I'm going with Buescher because I called Buescher for the Coke 600, and because this whole thing happened, he's just going to hold on to this baggage, and I really think this is where Buescher is going to get that redemption win now. I think he was doing really well. Then all of a sudden he kind of stalled out at Coke, but that's a backup car. He's going to have a dedicated car. Hopefully they can get it under control the entire time. He was fast as hell before he crashed in practice.
Yes.
So I am excited. I think he can do it.
They have found something for sure, especially the RFK guys, but I think Ford as a whole has found something. And just to say real quickly too, I really think that it's going to be a Ford weekend. Buescher for sure. The track itself, Gateway, reminds me of a flat Darlington. The kind of that egg shape feel to it. So we all know how RFK as a whole ran at Darlington. I can see it. I could see it transfer over this weekend too.
Yep. And for AB Productions, I did see your chat over here on the YouTube side.
Yeah.
Go check out our TikTok. We have a TikTok video out I made about SHR closing down and about Priest basically in that part of it. So go check that out. Make sure you check out our TikTok. Make sure you check out all our socials for everyone that's on each side. Thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate everyone tuning out. We had a phenomenal weekend when it came to social media.
Real quickly too, before hopefully he's still in here. Pizza Mark on the Instagram side. You got to dip out too, but stoked we found the y'all's podcast. We appreciate you finding the podcast. Appreciate you tuning in. We're here every week.
And that's it. It's the fans, man. Y'all are awesome. We had a blockbuster weekend, some of the best weekend when it comes to our content. And we look forward to continue to bring it to you. We got Atlanta coming up next, but we're going to be live every weekend. I might, Andy might, I don't know. I know I might make it out to Phoenix. I'm mulling it over in my head right now. It's the last SHR race. I don't know. More to come. But make sure you check out our TikTok. A lot of TikTok news. There's a lot of stuff coming up right now. A lot of rumors I'm hearing. So there's going to be some good videos coming up very shortly. Yeah. Thank y'all for everything. And that's all I got. So till next time. See you.
Yeah, let me I just want to say appreciate everybody for tuning in for sure. Everybody for blowing up the likes this weekend on our socials and everything. We appreciate it for sure. So I'm thankful that we're not going to have a race to go to here for a while, because that's going to be my little boycott to NASCAR for the shitty way they ended things.
Yes, 100%.
So speaking of ending things, here's that outro.